6 chairs around a table. You are in one of them. The other 5 are taken by people you had never seen before tonight. In the center of the table sits a single plate of food, and you already know, without anyone having to say it, that there is something wrong with that plate. The voice that fills the room belongs to no one seated there. It says one thing calmly, the way you read a notice out loud. In 10 minutes, one of the 6 people at this table has to eat what is on the plate. Only one dies. The other 5 stand up and walk out alive. And if, at the end of the 10 minutes, no one has eaten, the food stops mattering because then all 6 die. Then the voice adds the one rule that turns this into a test about you. The choice is not yours alone. You are going to vote. Each person gets 1 minute to speak, to say who they are, to argue why they should be spared. And at the end, the 6 of you point at one person. Whoever gets the most votes eats. You have 1 minute to defend yourself and 5 votes to win. And you have 5 votes to give. First things first, this is an exercise in moral psychology. Kidnappings with a poisoned plate do not happen outside a script. What does happen, and what this video measures, is something else. What your brain does when it is forced to turn people into arguments. Because that is what the table forces you to do. And the way you do it, the speed at which you do it, reveals a decision system you use every single day without noticing, just with smaller stakes. Pay attention to the first thing your mind does. Not the answer you will build afterward, calmly, to look like a decent person. The first one. The one that comes before you have time to make yourself presentable. Level 1. The 5 people at the table begin to speak, one by one. The first is a mother. She has an autistic child at home who depends entirely on her, and she repeats this 3 times in her minute because it is the only thing she can say. The second is a priest. He speaks quietly, says he has lived enough, and that if the decision were his alone, he would already have eaten to spare the others the weight of choosing. The third is a recovering addict, 2 years clean. He says he spent his whole life being the problem in everyone else's story, and that now, for the first time, he wanted to be something else. The fourth is a scientist. She is, she says, close to a discovery that could change Alzheimer's treatment for millions of people. She does not cry. She presents it as a data point. The fifth is an orphaned teenager. He is 17, has no one waiting for him anywhere, and he says this looking at the table, not at the people. Now it is your turn to vote. A minute just hit 0. Who do you point at? Notice what your brain just did, because it did it in silence and far too fast for you to catch. If you voted for the priest, it was probably because he offered himself, and your brain treated his consent as permission. It is the most comfortable exit, because it feels like you respected his wish. But look closer. You accepted the sacrifice of the one person who made yours easier. You chose whoever offered the least resistance. If you voted for the recovering addict or the orphaned teenager, your brain ran a calculation it would never admit out loud. It worked out who would leave the smallest hole. No one waiting at home, no dependent child, no discovery at stake. You did not choose out of cruelty. You chose out of accounting. You measured the emptiness each death would leave and voted for the smallest one. If you voted for the scientist, you did the opposite, and it is equally revealing. You decided a life is worth what it produces. You saved the 4 ordinary people and sacrificed the useful one, or you saved the useful one and sacrificed the 4, depending on how her argument landed on you. Either way, you accepted that there is a currency for measuring people. You just disagreed about the exchange rate, and if you could not point at anyone, if the minute hit 0 and your hand did not go up, hold on to that reaction. It will matter at the end. Level 2. The voice returns. It says there was an oversight. Before the final vote, each person has the right to reveal one last piece of information about themselves. 1 sentence. And those 5 sentences change everything. The mother, when pressed, admits her child has been in an institution for 3 years and that she has not visited him since. The priest reveals he left his parish under accusations that were never proven nor disproven, and he chooses not to say which. The recovering addict says the person he hurt most in his life is someone he never had the courage to find, and that she is still alive. The The scientist admits the discovery she described is still a hypothesis, without a single completed test, and that she may be completely wrong. The teenager says, without anyone asking, that he has already saved 2 people's lives, and does not explain how. The clock hits its final count. You keep your vote or you change it. What was your impulse, not the thought? The impulse. Here's the uncomfortable part, and it is not about who you voted for. It is about what the new information did to you. If the mother's revelation made you turn your vote against her, notice what happened. You punished her. The information did not change the value of her life. It changed how much you approved of her. And without noticing, you stopped deciding who should be spared and started deciding who deserved to be punished. Those are completely different questions, and your brain swapped one for the other without warning you. If the scientist's revelation made you withdraw your protective vote, you just discovered your compassion was conditional on her usefulness. The moment the usefulness became uncertain, the protection evaporated. You did not value the person. You valued the promise. And if the teenager's sentence, the one who saved 2 lives, suddenly made you want to spare him, look at what you did. You rewarded merit. What the table asked was for you to decide who lives. What you did was decide who earned the right to live. And earning a right presupposes it could have been lost, which means that somewhere in your system, everyone's right to live at that table had been in dispute from the start. The real question is not whether you changed your vote, it is why. Did you change it because the new information revealed something morally relevant? Or because it handed you an excuse to vote the way you already wanted to from the first minute? Most people are incapable of telling those two apart inside their own head. And it is exactly in that incapacity that the truth about how you decide lives. Level 3. The voice makes one last announcement, and this is the one the video came for. Before counting the votes, it reveals there was a 6th candidate the whole time. You. The other 5 also had a minute to think about you while you judged them. They are going to vote too. And you never got your turn to speak because your defense is this, happening right now inside your head, as you listen to me. So, in 5 seconds, build your argument. Why it should not be you. Starting now. Pay attention to what you did with those 5 seconds because it is worth more than all the previous votes combined. If your defense was automatic, if within 5 seconds you already had a list of reasons why your life matters more than the other 5, notice that you built, effortlessly, exactly the kind of argument that irritated you when the scientist made hers. You have a child, a job, a project, someone who depends on you. Everyone at the table had their version of that. The difference is that yours felt obvious and theirs felt like strategy. That has a name. It is called the actor-observer asymmetry. When others defend their own lives, you hear calculation. When you defend yours, you hear truth. It is the same argument. What changes is which side of the table it is spoken from. And if your reaction was different, if within 5 seconds you thought not about why to save yourself, but about which of the 5 you would sacrifice to make sure one vote stayed in your favor, then you were no longer defending yourself. You were campaigning. You understood before everyone else that in a vote, your survival does not depend on you being the best. It depends on someone worse existing. And your brain was already looking for that someone. That is the mechanic the table exposes, and it does not stay at the table. It shows up every time a group has to decide who loses. In a round of layoffs, in a meeting where someone will take the blame, in a family splitting an inheritance, in a friendship deciding whose side of a fight is the wrong one. The person who survives these situations is rarely the fairest. It tends to be the one who understood fastest that when a group votes on who falls, the winning strategy is never to defend yourself. It is to redirect. It is to make sure with one well-placed word that the group's eyes settle on someone else before they settle on you. You do not have to push anyone. You only have to make the group look the right way and let it do the work. The psychologist Martha Stout estimates that roughly 1 in 25 people operates without the internal brake that makes most of us hesitate before turning people into pieces. They are not all in prisons. They are on boards, in meetings, at dinner tables, and most of them never needed an extreme scenario to discover what they are capable of. Because adult life offers diluted versions of that whole table every week. The difference between them and you may not be in what you would do under pressure. It may just be in how much pressure it takes. This test did not measure whether you are a good person. A table with a poisoned plate is not going to happen to you. What will happen, and what has already happened countless times, is the small version. The group that has to choose who carries the blame, and you with a vote in your hand. What you discovered here was your method. In the first level, how your brain assigns value to a life when it is forced to compare. In the second, whether your compassion is unconditional or whether it is a contract that cancels itself the moment the other person disappoints you. And in the third, what you do when you find out you are also on the list and whether your first reaction is to defend yourself or to look for someone to put in front of you. There is no right answer across these three levels. There is your answer. And it reveals the real weight you assign to people, not the one you claim to assign when no one is forcing you to choose. Most people go their whole lives without ever measuring this. You just measured it. And if what you saw bothered you, it is because there still exists in you the exact thing that was missing in whoever voted without hesitating. The capacity to look at your own method and not like what you see. Write in the comments who you voted for in the first level: the mother, the priest, the recovering addict, the scientist, or the teenager. And if in the third level you caught yourself looking for someone to sacrifice instead of defending yourself, write just one word: looked.